What's going on, folks? This is Jay from the Lords of War Hobby channel, and today we are talking power blades, non-metal, metal, whatever you want to call it. Basically painting a cool looking weapon without using a metallic paint and just kind of blending the colors together. So this is one of my Warp Spider Exarchs. I have another one I'm going to show you in a minute, and I thought the blades came out pretty well, and people always kind of ask for how-to videos. So today's how-to is, how do you do this? So we're going to kind of quickly cover some of the colors involved, and then you'll watch me a little bit do the thing. Here it's a little shiny in camera. I do gloss these afterwards. I find that just when they're these are pretty small, to be honest, so anything that kind of makes it pop a little more to the eye. And they're gaming pieces, so I like things to be just like durable. If it was a showpiece, I probably wouldn't gloss it, but for the purpose of these guys, I was like, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so let's take a look at the colors. So here's a little palette here. Actually, I'll go over the colors briefly here. So the first kind of main color here is this AK French Army Gray. It's just like it's a gray with a bit of like blue in it, basically. So that's their color right here. Oh, wow, that was embarrassing. Quick mess right there. That one there. It is actually on camera. It's a little. In reality, it's a little less blue. I don't know. You can see it. It's looking a little blue on the camera, but just so you know. So there's that one there. I'm trying to think of what other was a Citadel equivalent. I don't know. It's like if you took Mechanicus Gray and maybe, yeah, put a bit of blue in it, or maybe Mechanicus and Fenrisian together, or Rust Gray together, maybe something like that. Next in line, we have this blue gray. You can see a theme. This one's just called blue gray, AK 11011. It's a pretty light color. You can see it there at the top. Then moving on, we got white, just whatever white you want. And then actually, before the black, we have another popular color. We got the dark sea blue. Vallejo makes a color like this too. 11190, and then on the very end is just, you know, black of your choice. So I'm gonna just like quickly add a bit of water to these to get it rolling, so we get a bit of flow with this. I'm gonna water these down even more as I go, but need to be quite mixed together here. Oh, I got that little bit. I got that white a little contaminated. That's fine. It's just there for the really, really bright highlights. We're barely going to use it. Okay. And let's get back to the model. So here's our in progress guy. And so all I've done, pre-done already, is so this guy was primed white, and I hit him with this is just a full base coat of that French artillery gray color we used. And then I've got, let's see what I got here. Grab a brush. And one of these, this is like a 0 or 00 brush. This is a, actually, I don't know, the handles, it's rubbed off the handle, so I think this was a Da Vinci 10 series brush, if I remember correctly. So, the first thing I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to take that dark sea blue color, right there, and I'm going to, like, mega thin it, just, like, pretty thin, like, watery thin, like this. Okay, and then we're going to use that to paint in like a shadow. So hopefully this thing stays in focus. So put it there, and then use my other guy as a little reference so I can be efficient. So we did like a darker, we'll start up here. So the purpose here is we're going to do a couple layers of this, and it just helps us, like, so what we've done is we basically started with a mid-tone. We started in the middle, so rather than building up from black, I kind of start in the middle, and I can paint in the spots that I want the shadows in, and you're kind of just mapping out where things are going. So I've got this one here, and then I kind of had it dark at the bottom. You have to like consider, it doesn't really matter, you can do whatever you want, but you do have to consider the like how the weapon is like held, I guess, the plane, I guess, if you want to call it. So because this is like normally like this, I kind of find the bottom should be kind of mostly dark. I'm gonna add a little bit more paint to speed this up. It's dark down here, and then it's going to like diffuse as we get to the top. I want to leave this part of the blade bright, and I was happy with this part kind of being, you're kind of alternating. You got like light, dark, you know, dark down here. It's kind of like that. You kind of have this like checkery alternating thing. It doesn't have to be exact or perfect. Again, it'll vary depending on like how the weapon is positioned or to the other side. And I'll do something, you know, similar. Maybe I'll do, I think on mine I did a little opposite. I kind of did like this part dark, like that, and then I popped up here and then kind of darkened down here. It's mostly still rule of cool. Like some people argue, like, oh, it has to be, this is the proper way. Yeah, maybe on a show figure you can like consider the like maybe realistic reflections, but this is a power blade on a sci-fi elf model. Like, let's just do whatever, you know, whatever looks cool, whatever makes sense to your eye. So you can see pretty thin paint, small brush strokes, just like teasing it into the spots so that you can see it looks pretty crude, but that's the way it goes. And I'll just kind of continue on. So we got like the tricky spots, you know, a little bit here, down here. I want to keep the bottom dark, and I'm going pretty quick here. Actually, put this down here. Well, it's a little Bob Rossi in here with my commentary, but sorry, I have to deal with it. And then down here, what do we do on that side? Yeah, it's mostly dark. The way, especially again, the way this blade, it's like on the inside and pointing down. Like it would be pretty dark if it's a highly reflective surface. It would be pretty dark. It's not really much for it to grab. Just gonna let me fan this out actually a little bit more here. And even if in this stage you map things out a little bit, like not to your, in a way that you don't like, it's fine. The following steps you'll correct it or change it to a way that you like. So step one is just mapping it out. So there we go. There's that. And then we're gonna grab some of the our midtone again, and now we're going to just like put it back in here. Let's see if I can get a closer shot. Of what's going on there. And it's very little paint, very like lightly working it in. Here's where you may mix the two, the dark sea blue with the French artillery. Just make like a little middle ground here. And you're trying to create the little tones that would blend between the darkest and the light color. And you kind of work those two together a little bit. And it's going to look like a bit of a homogeneous blob. So what you can do at some point during your stage here, let me just do a little bit more of this fixing things up here. You can see it's just the tip of the brush that's just like picking up a bit of color and just teasing it into the where you want it to go. So you kind of map it out. And then there'll be a stage where you can take one of your lighter colors, maybe the lighter blue-gray or with some white. And there's a step right here I like to do, and this really helps, is to use the edge of the brush to just outline. You know, there's a bit of something on the blade there that's caught. That's okay. Is trying to catch all the hard edges and outline the shapes. It's hard, especially on the middle part. It's okay, we'll do it. It'll be a little crude to begin with here. I'm just kind of working this in. It's okay, that'll get cleaned up. So this helps you see what the shape of this is supposed to be, because before then things are a little blobbed together. You're kind of blending colors and you kind of lose sight of, like, to your eye, the shape of everything. So you do this kind of like harsh outline step, and then you can go back. You're going to redo that step a few times, that like outlining. Now that we kind of have a shape, now I can go back. Now I'll take kind of like probably some black, really thin black is pretty strong of a color here when it comes to the pigments, and we're just going to like paint in the darkest bits. Like something on my brush has a little bit of something on the end of it there. And so something I like to remind people is that you want to make maybe a sort of less liberal use of just like pure black and pure white, because you can't, like in regards to paint, you can't go any lighter or any darker. That's as far as it goes. So it should be used sparingly towards the end of the process, because where else are you going to go? If you go straight to the darkest and lightest, then you have no more room. So you have to kind of like use more subtle colors to get there. Okay, I'm going to use a bit of the lighter gray. So now we're just kind of like back and forthing around, and we're looking for spots. Okay, where do I want this to be like its brightest? So I'm going to put a little bit here. I imagine like bright reflection at the top there. And then I knew in my other model I had this like really bright. And again, you do these like small layers, a little bit of paint, you let them dry, you do some more. Work on this like spot to make this blend a bit more. You can see it like coming or live, little by little. Is this time consuming? Yes. Very. Especially if you're doing, like I've got squads of howling banshees and stuff that are just like they all carry these. So then you have, you know, each one, this is just one side of one blade. This guy has two blades, so there's four sides to do. And if you built the one with double, or like he's just double stacked blades, there's an option for that, which admittedly looked very cool. I was close to doing it. That's 8 blades on one guy. You do get kind of in a groove once you get your colors like on the palette and thin the way you like, and you got like a little bit of a or a groove going. It's not bad. You can kind of like get it going. Sorry, I don't have like a proper palette cam going. I'll show you the palette in a minute. It's just kind of, it's not, I haven't deviated too much from what I put on there. Just like a few colors I'm kind of quick mixed for a bit of what I needed to do. Actually, I didn't hydrate my palette enough. I just kind of cracked it open from yesterday, and I like sometimes the red grass palettes, and it's good to just like add a bit. This one's got to add a little more water to it. And then when we grab like just straight white, problem with this, I don't know if you noticed on the camera in the corner here, there's like I missed a little, it's like a little bit of plastic I missed with the X-Acto. Sorry, yeah, a little bit of white, and it's just like tiny, small amounts, little dots. You know, I have a tiny bit of like really thin paint. Just create like a spot where like I want that reflection to be its like brightest. Not super thrilled with that. I have to just like go back and with the other gray color. So I take a little bit of that blue gray, the lighter gray, and I add a little bit of that dark sea blue to it. Create like a little bit of in-between tone. I'm going to back up here and just like fan it out in both directions. Let's see what we can do here. Just that's not bad. I might play around this with some more as I go. So, and then what we'll do is we'll this is just me doing this back and forth for some more time. Probably another. I estimate this would probably take me another, I don't know, 10-15 minutes of just like going back and forth, teasing. So you guys got kind of an idea there at the beginning of what it should look like. And then what you want to do also is kind of as you're going here, you know, at some point do another round of like getting some like white or super light color and just like reinforcing the shape again just slightly, because it gets a little lost in the blending you're doing, and just take a moment to like reform it. The sharper the lines you can do, the better, the nicer it'll look. Let's see if I can fix that up later with like the X-Acto knife, that little spot that is not cooperating. Apologize for the ASMR of this video. Anyway, okay, I better stop soon before I lose too much time. Yeah, maybe I overdid it on that. See, this is the thing. It's just this. It's definitely a patience thing. It's just like back and forth, a little bit of the dark, a little bit of the light. You know, I like the top of the blade there. It's looking pretty good. The bottom is still kind of like, I look at it and I'm like, Probably because I'm trying to do this faster than usual. Okay, there we go. I think I'm okay with this for now. There you go, folks. It's blade in less than 20 minutes. I hope that was helpful. Watching me do that a little bit. Sorry about some of the shakiness, etc. on the camera, but you can see how we gotta go from kind of like just basically mapping it out, make that brighter there for you, to the nearly finished. The finished will look more crisper. You know, that's where this one's a little darker, mind you. I went a little more ham on the darker tones, but you know, that's the basic done there. All right. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for bearing with me. Hopefully we'll do more of these little how-tos. Yeah, catch you guys later. Thanks.